Good wonderful morning and welcome back to the channel. It is I, Boss, and in today's video we're going to talk about creosote chimney fires. What can we do to prevent them, and probably a lot more, so stay tuned. Also, I'm going to have some tips for you as well. Okay, let's get right into it. So it's getting on towards burning season for the northern climates here in the United States, Canada, and other places throughout the world. So, I've already cleaned my chimney for this year, so I'm not going to demo that, but make sure you're cleaning your chimney at least once a year. Creosote is a naturally occurring chemical. It's a byproduct of smoke. You can get it in coal, the way I understand, as well as wood. Now, all wood's going to make creosote, but some are much worse than others. So if you're in a part of the world where you don't have access to hardwoods, and you're burning pines, you're going to generate a lot more creosote, and I would recommend that you clean your chimney way more than once a year. So keep that in mind. But North America, most of it, yeah, once a year at least. And if your roof is too steep, you don't have the equipment, whatever the problem is, hire a chimney sweep. If it's not safe for you to get up and do it, get it done irregardless. And let's say, I don't know what a chimney sweep costs, but let's say it's $500 to have the guy come out and do your chimney. Money well spent. So I did mine about 2 weeks ago, and I had a lot of creosote, and I'm not 100% sure why. My initial thoughts are that last year's wood was more on the wet side, and I think wet wood generates more creosote. I just do. So this year, probably midwinter, first good window of nice weather. We usually get a January thaw here in Michigan. I'm going to go back up top and give it a sweep. It really doesn't take, it takes longer for me to put the chimney sweeper together and set up a ladder than it does to actually do it. If you've never done it before, you buy the equipment. It's a big round brush and fiberglass poles that screw together, and you can get it any length that you need it. So if you have 20 feet of chimney, I would recommend 25 feet of handle. You remove the cap off the top of your chimney, run the brush down it, pull it out, run it down, pull it out, and you will hear the creosote falling and landing inside your wood stove, your fireplace, whatever. I would say if you have an open fireplace, you may want to, and of course I'm talking about it's cool, you haven't had a fire in it, maybe masking tape and some plastic to keep all that dust and creosote pebbles and all that fun stuff inside. But if you have a wood stove, close the door and shut it tight, and you should be fine. So here we are. Geez, I think it's November the 1st today. Yeah, yesterday was Halloween. For some reason I didn't get any trick-or-treaters. Oh well. Anyway, so what I'm currently doing is burning my worst wood. Well, what do you mean? What's your worst wood? My lower species, my less desirable firewood. The reason why I'm doing that is because it doesn't put out the heat that you know, your oaks and cherries and ironwoods and, oh geez, hickory, Osage orange, you know, these high BTU trees that we may have access to. So right now, because I don't need to heat up the house because it's not minus 25, it's 30 at night and 50 during the day, I just don't need a lot of heat in the house. So I'm burning like cottonwood, I'm burning soft maple, I'm burning oh geez, what's the other one? Sycamore. I'm just burning my lower species. I never burn any pine inside. I recommend, unless you're in that region where you have to burn pine, don't do it. You're asking for trouble. Also, I think that you should burn your fire in the morning when you get up and you're adding wood to your firebox and stuff. Burn it hot for an hour. Don't, you know, choke back that air with the damper, and you know, let it run wide open for a good hour. And I think that helps burn some of the impurities out of the stovepipe and out of the stove. So it's my advice. Again, I'm not an expert on the topic. I'm simply doing this video to raise awareness, because I don't want your house to burn down any more than you do. Trust me. It's just not a good scene. I'm going to take you over to my little wood stove, show you guys about it, and it's burned down to coals. I'm going to show you what I do. This will be a simulated, you know, me getting up first thing in the morning and what I do with it. So stay tuned for that. All right, guys and gals, so here's the little wood stove. This was installed when we bought this house. It does have a blower on it, which I'm sure you can probably hear. You can probably also hear in the background my son's little parakeet. His name is Key, and he does like to make noise, so bear with me. So, tip number one was burn your crappier wood either in the fall or in the spring when you don't need as much heat. Tip number two. These are some old welding gloves. You see they got a couple holes in the finger, but I use them on this wood stove because I have burnt my arms multiple times. It's not fun. So this is pretty typical. I empty the ashes probably about every other day, and this isn't too bad right now. So normally I reach in with the poker, just stir the hot coals. Grab a couple little pieces of wood here that aren't so little, but that's fine. What do we have? A couple pieces of maple. Now, your wood stove may or may not work the same as mine. The damper is already wide open, and I just leave the door cracked for just a minute or two, and we should see flames. And there we go. We have flameage. And if your wood is nice and dry, as soon as I have flames, I can close this door down. The damper is still wide open. If I close it right now, yeah, I'm going to get a ton of smoke, which may or may not be okay. Make sure you have a good rope. This is your rope seal right here. Make sure it's in decent condition to keep that fire nice and tight in there. My damper, I'll close it for you guys, and it'll just about put that fire out. You'll see it get really, really slow. It did, it put it out. That's a tight seal, that's what we want. So when is it okay to close your damper like that? When you have your fire blazing and you're warm enough in your house, you don't need any more heat, that should be your first move, is to close that damper. Anyway, that's about it. You can see it's come right back to life. Let's get reset up on the sofa and we'll finish this video out. Alright guys and gals, that's how my little wood stove works. It's not, you know, I didn't pick it out. It was just here when we bought the house. Very grateful for it because it is such a huge asset. I burn somewhere between 10 and 12 face cords a winter, fall and spring until it gets warm. Something in that ballpark. And like I said, this year I'm saving all my really good wood for January, February. March can be a bear too, but you know, that ash will burn beautifully in here. I've been burning it. I just kind of got into a pile that I had some less desirable wood and thought, you know what, I'm going to burn this stuff up now. And it's still doing very well. House is very nice and warm. I'm joined by Cookie the cat. That's Little Boss's kitty. And yeah, Scout's wandering around wondering who the heck I'm talking to. He's like, Dad, there's no one here. You're crazy. What else? A couple of safety items. And I don't have one of these. Make sure your smoke detectors are working. Test them once a month. Change the batteries once a year. I know there are some of these new ones that are out that you only have to do, they're good for like 10 years and you never change a battery. You throw them away and buy a new one. But if you have conventional smoke detectors, test them once a month, especially during wood stove season, let's call it. Another safety thing to have, make sure you have a fire extinguisher. We have multiples. My main one, my go-to one, is right underneath the kitchen sink. That's going to be a spot where you can have a fire at any time, as well as your wood stove. Clean your chimney. Clean your chimney. Have your chimney cleaned if you cannot do it yourself. It's super important. And I think this year it's even more important to talk about this because fossil fuel prices and energy prices are going through the roof. And I think some people that maybe haven't used their stoves in some time, they haven't been using their fireplaces for a while, are going to start using it just because energy costs are through the roof. And I don't see any signs of them stopping. It's going to get worse before it gets better. So if you haven't, especially if you haven't used it in some time, get the professional out there, have your chimney inspected, get it cleaned. It's an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. I can't stress it enough. It is horrible to have a house burned down. I've never had one of mine burned down, but my sister did and my mom did, and it's devastating. You can't even imagine until it happens to you. So I don't want you guys to have to go through that. They make a log that is a fire extinguisher log that you can buy, I'm sure, like Walmart, Meijer, Tractor Supply, Farm and Home. Any big box store should have these, and I don't have any, and I should get one because, you know, it could be a game changer, especially if you're rural like I am. You know, down at the corner isn't a fire station. They have to travel, and they're all volunteer. So they got to get woke up, they got to get dressed, they got to get in their vehicle, drive to the fire station, get suited up in their fireman gear, jump in their truck, and come to my house. That can be, you know, it could be a lot of time has passed before they're able to get here. And if I can do something simple like throw a log in and close the door, and that takes care of my problem. Man, what good sense that makes. So yeah, again, I'm not an expert. Do your own research, but I'm trying to raise awareness. And since we are a firewood channel, this is a good place for it. Guys and gals, thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate you guys being here with me. It's awesome. Welcome to my living room. This is the first video we've shot inside the house. It is a beautiful day. I'm going to go outside and mess around with the tractor. I now have a flat tire. All I really need to do now is put the hood and the tin back on and the loader. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll have all that done today. I did end up moving that IBC tote from the backyard up here by the house. And without the loader on the tractor, it was doing wheelies. I had to steer it off the back tires and kind of lean forward and balance it. But I got it up here. So yes, the PTO forklift will lift an IBC tote completely filled with firewood. But I think what I can do is grab a scoop of my topsoil that I have out back, and that'll be enough counterbalance. I should be able to just move those IBC totes anywhere I want them. So thank you all for watching. Thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Thumbs down if you didn't. It's all good in the hood. Again, not an expert, just trying to bring awareness and tell you what I do. Clean your chimneys. It's hugely important. Alright guys, till next video, boss is out. Bye.